Let me touch on the current dry spell. We've been able to meet our water needs confidently throughout the dry spell so far, and that is because PUB has been running our desalination and new water plants at almost full capacity. Most of our new water is used by industries that need a very pure source of water. But in addition to that, we've been able to put about 35 million gallons per day of new water to top up and maintain our current reservoir stocks. And this new water, mixed with the raw water in the reservoir, ultimately enters PUB's portable water supply. Nearly all water authorities that use recycled water for human consumption do something like this. I'm answering your question yesterday. They first use the recycled water to top up the reservoirs or to top up the aquifers. And then this is mixed with raw water and pre-treated a second time using conventional treatment methods. This is what we call indirect portable use. You can also think of this as creating an environment buffer. The water from reverse osmosis, which is very pure, contains hardly any minerals at all. This water is mixed with raw water in the reservoir. It's subject to the usual ecological processes that occur in a reservoir, and then it undergoes conventional treatment all over again. I note engineer Lee Biwa's query yesterday. Your question was, do we need to double handle the water? And let me spend a little time going through this in detail. So far in the world, I only know of one water authority which since 1968 has been piping recycled water directly into the portable water supply. This is the water authority in Namibia from a place called Windhoek. I haven't been there personally, but they've been doing this since 1968. Now, we all know new water is safe to drink. All of us in this house have drunk it. You will remember the National Day Parade when at that time PM Goh Chok Tong raised the toast to Singapore, and we all drank it. As a doctor, I know it is safe to drink. But to dispense with the environmental buffer, to make it routine, is a big step. And it's not one which I want to rush into. First, we have to make sure the Singaporeans understand that it is safe and accept it. Secondly, we have to be doubly, triply, quadruply sure that all the fail-safe mechanisms are in place, because my paramount concern must be the safety and health of our people. So therefore, I accept that there's some merit in your suggestion or in your question, but this is something which I will study very, very carefully, and I want to give you this assurance that we will, the top and paramount concern, public hygiene, safety, security, and the peace of mind of our people. So let's not rush into this. Now, we owe a great debt to our founding leaders and the pioneer generation in the PUB for their vision, their foresight, and their hard work that led to the development of 4 national taps for Singapore. But just bear in mind, the most recent desalination plant, with a capacity of 70 million gallons per day, was only completed 6 months ago. We commenced building this plant in 2011. And if you remember, in 2011, in fact, PUB was being heavily criticized for floods and not for droughts. But I think this is a good reminder that, in fact, flash floods come and go, but droughts can be prolonged and are, in fact, of much greater strategic threat to our well-being. Now, we are reasonably secure for now, but we should not be complacent. And as I said earlier, we don't know whether this will turn out to be an El Nino year, and if so, how severe, and implications that has for drought, and drought not only in Singapore, but for the region, and even worse, for agricultural producers, which also has knock-on impact on food prices and other related issues. So So the point is, we cannot afford to waste water, and we need to be very careful to emphasize conservation and to insist on an efficient use of water across all sectors. So there are many aspects in our daily life, both big and small. One example of a scheme which we have launched is this thing called the Minimum Water Efficiency Standard Scheme. So for instance, we said we will state that only washing machines with at least one tick of efficiency will be allowed for sale in Singapore from the 1st of April 2014. We intend to raise the minimum standards to at least 2 ticks in 2015. I think the general point here is that we're trying to save both water and save money for Singaporeans. The non-domestic sector currently consumes 55% of Singapore's total water demand. This 55% will grow to 70% by 2060. PUB has started by encouraging the voluntary submission of water efficiency management plans by companies since 2010. We believe that these plans will help the companies become more aware of their water usage patterns, that they will identify ways to reduce consumption and raise their efficiency. To date, about 35% of large water users have submitted their water management plans to PUB on a voluntary basis. We will have to go further, and we will mandate the submission of these plans by all large water users with effect from June 2015. So companies which are consuming 5,000 or more cubic meters of water each month will have to install a private water meter within their premises and to submit their water efficiency management plans annually to the PUB.